The first step to any Stokes operation is patient packaging, which will end up looking something like this. This comes as a kit living on the master point. Once you have taken that off and put your patient in, you're going to start with the patient harness, which as you see here, goes around the legs first and should be snugged up really nicely. Then use this yellow webbing at the top and the NRS strap at the bottom. These will get snugged very tightly to make sure there can be no movement either up or down of the patient. Following that, we're going to apply our red and blue rigging straps. These also will need to get snugged down very tightly. Patients feel better when they are snug in this basket, so don't go easy on them. Arms can be rigged inside or outside. It's sort of your preference. It can make a patient feel more exposed when their arms are strapped in, but certainly if they are going to be combative or just an unreliable patient, we would probably prefer them to be that way. Next up is the bridle portion, specifically the red head bridle, and then the Aztec, which will be stretched out and go to the feet. Adjust the Aztec until you get it sitting right where you want it to. Next up is the second attachment for the patient. This lives in that drop bag. Connect the carabiner to the harness and then adjust the prusik accordingly. Before we get into the attachment points for the rescuer, let's talk about the new setup for the main and belay and how they attach. That's all going to be via the master point, sometimes called the God ring. Everything's pre-rigged to this. The main and belay need to be attached in one of three ways. First one would be two separate eights, each with a carabiner. Second way is two eights tied as a single knot, but still using two carabiners. And the third, and my preferred method, would be tying an 8 follow through that master point. This would eliminate two carabiners and makes a really tight knot. That's all going to help us on the edge transition. You can see here in these two pictures how much more space we save. This brings us back to the rescuer's attachment points. The first point of attachment, the main attachment point, will be the wingman, which goes from the master point down to your waist connection. This is how the rescuer is going to move around on the basket. Second attachment point is the ASAP. You see me moving that up and down. That will travel along the blue line that is fixed into the master point. You just need to mind that if you move significantly up or down, make sure the ASAP travels with you so you don't take a big fall onto it if something happens. Most of the time, the rescuer is going to live in a low attendant position, which is about where I'm at here in this shot. There is going to be a time, though, where you need to move into that upper attendant position. If you need to do that and you haven't rigged it ahead of time, you can use the progress adjust, as I'm doing right now in this video, to hook into the master point, unweight the wingman. The wingman can then be disconnected and attached with the tib lock that lives on the carabiner with the wingman. Take it off of that ring, move it up high onto either the main or the belay line. Once that's connected, you can then move up into that high attendant position. Just a reminder, high attendant position is really for when we need to navigate over an overhang. The only way to do that is by really pushing that basket out and away from you, taking all the weight onto your legs and being able to hoist that basket up and around. It's rare that we need to do this, especially in Castle Rock. So most of the time we're just going to sit in that low attendant position. If you do want to go from horizontal to vertical, you can do that by manipulating the Aztec kit. As you see here, we'll go from horizontal to vertical. Again, this may not be something that you need to do, but we've tried to build some versatility into the system to allow us to change up our orientation. Don't forget, after you've made some changes, to readjust the prusik connecting to the patient harness. I want to answer a few questions and emphasize a few things. First of all, you might be wondering why the changes. In short, it's really about simplicity, although on the front end of this, we need to refamiliarize ourselves with this process. We have eliminated the need for long-tail bowlines or eights, which are difficult for people to figure out and to tie correctly. now whoever's sending ropes over to the basket, simply tying the eights. What this does require, though, is that you technicians need to be familiar with your setups. There are things that are pre-connected to both harnesses and to the master point here. You need to know what those are. That's going to take some reps. It's going to take some time. I encourage you all to become very familiar with them. And the final piece that we need to deal with is you might wonder, is this redundant? We're looking at our master point here, and it's a single piece. It's not redundant. We treat this very much the same way we would a rigging plate. It is a non-failable device by a human. We're not able to open or close anything, and it's stronger than pretty much any point in our system. Therefore, we choose to eliminate the redundancy, although remember to use your two carabiners if you are attaching to that master point, and there's redundancy built in for both the rescuer and the patient. If you have any other questions, please reach out to myself or one of the rope working group members. We would be happy to help you, either walk you through it or find a time when we can do some hands-on reps with you. Thanks for watching.